is a history lesson. This is all from years ago.
Right.
It's basically why Joe Matarese packed up and left this time, because he's been through this before, guys.
Yes.
I hate to break your bubble. Joe Matarese, I don't know much about Opie and Anthony, so maybe, Carl, you can help me with this. The Pests, right?
Yep.
The legendary Pests. When that show went away, the Pests were still around. So in the internet rabbit holes, they were still looking for people to fucking jump on. And from what I understand, Joe Matarese did a bout with the Pests 7 or 8 years ago, and this is what all this is from. And this is when I came across Joe Matarese the first time. So when he resurfaced recently, I go, oh, I know all about Joe Matarese. This is going to be fun.
Yep.
So Joe Matarese was a comic, I guess, and there's a person named Karen from Philly who's a trans.
He was a comic. He just put out a special.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Joe Matarese.
He just put out a special on his YouTube page, and my buddy Mike Geary watched the entire thing.
So what's funny is Kate from Philly did this fan podcast of Joe Matarese. It was called Monumental Waste of Time, which is a fucking great name for a Joe Matarese podcast.
Yes, it is.
It's about 35 episodes. It wasn't long, but basically Karen from Philly was his Cardiff Electric. Pardon me, Cardiff, but they would talk to each other. Like, he's an expert level troll job with Joe Matarese. And at the time, he was on Periscope. He was doing Adderall and fucking doing all kinds of crazy shit. So Karen from Philly would come on and just be like, oh, I'm actually a big fan of Joe. Joe, why are you acting this way, man? And then Joe would call in and be like, you're fucking crazy. And she's like, I'm not crazy. I love you. You're the best. And I think that's what happened in true pest form. They tear you down first. They tell you to kill yourself and all that. And then eventually they come around to complimenting you. But even an asshole like me can see a compliment and no, that's not a compliment. You're fucking with me.
Dude, they did it to Opie masterfully.
I've seen it happen to Opie. I've seen it happen to Joe Matarese. It happened to Aaron Imholt. We can get into that later if you want, but I think that's exactly the same thing. Is they gas you up, and a person like me doesn't take compliments. So when I hear shit like that, I go, yeah, fuck off. But a person like Joe Matarese goes, oh, they fucking love me. I'm the best. They said it. See, 12 people can't be wrong. And eventually this whole thing, you know, they turned on him, and he left the internet already once before. But this is from Monumental Waste of Time with Karen from Philly, and basically Joe Matarese is going to have a fucking meltdown in a sequence of clips that I have here orchestrated for us, if you'd like to hear them.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Are we going right in order here?
Yeah, for sure. Joe Matarese, clip number 1. Joe calls in to the Monumental Waste of Time show. And one thing, Steve Reeves is the guy who's on here. Apparently, an episode previous, he shit all over Joe Matarese.
And he's another comic?
He's a low-level comic. They have a discussion about that. I'm sure you'll hear it. But Steve Reese is the guy, and he made some good points about Joe Matarese. It's not hard to talk shit about Joe Matarese. So he did all this stuff, and this is Joe Matarese calling in from a Little League game, Chrissy Mayer style.
All right.
And screaming at some fucking guy on the internet for, I don't know, about 10 minutes. So we broke it up into little pieces.
Right field of my son's game, being nice enough to call in.
I know you are.
Out of the gate a little strong.
All right, go ahead, Joe.
So you're already playing the sympathy card.
I've never claimed that I had one. I don't want a fan in South Dakota. If I have fans in South Dakota, I'm not a very fucking good comedian. Okay?
Explain that. So every comedian who has a fan in South Dakota is not a good comedian?
No, you're going to have your huge. You're going to have. No, I'm saying you're going to have your huge comedians. People in South Dakota are going to know, but South Dakota people aren't going to know guys that are kind of in the middle of the show business and stand-up comedy. How would they know that? Guys that are... Go ask anybody in New York City if they know my name. Anyone...
Oh, they know your name. It's a punchline to them, but they know your name.
God damn it.
Guess whose name they know a lot less? Yours. Why are you so angry? Like,
Joe is such an idiot. He contradicted himself immediately. He goes, I wouldn't even want to be known in South Dakota. Like, what do you mean?
He's not good at
this.
He's
like,
only
really famous comics are known in South Dakota. It's like, well, yeah, right. So you would want to be. That's the whole point.
He leaves himself open for so many shots here, and Steve Reese takes every single one of them. Nice. I don't know what Steve Reese is doing now. I don't know if he's a comic. I don't know if he's making fucking furniture somewhere in Idaho.
Maybe he'll be on WATP next week. We don't know.
I hope so.
Very possible.
He gives Joe the business so fucking good here. And what sucks is Cardiff, he'll be here and you'll listen. This is the kind of shit Cardiff would do. He just gives him the clip number 2. It's like a little stupid thing to needle somebody over. You just... You know it's going to hurt, and you just throw it out there and let them step right on the fucking grenade. So here we go.
And sorry, though.
Joe,
Does Joe Matarese think South Dakota is the South?
That's a good question.
I think so. Yeah, probably. You guys don't have any teeth and you fuck your cousins.
I'm not
Joe,
out there
I said this earlier in the show, if you were paying attention. If
I didn't listen to your show, how would I listen to your show? I'm in a fucking Little League game.
If I thought you were the funniest comedian in the world, you wouldn't question my credentials. You're only doing that because I have a difference of opinion with you.
But I don't understand your opinion. Give me some opinion that makes sense. Give me valid.
I'll give you an opinion. I think it's wrong to abuse the trust you have with your audience. If I'm a Joe Matarese fan and I give you $1, that's a sign of faith that you're going to spend that dollar on producing something that I'm going to enjoy. And if you're going to take things one step further and offer rewards based on the amount donated, and you don't follow through on those, that, first of all, that's a pretty shitty thing to do. Just
now, tell me when I've not followed through on a donation.
Why wasn't Hollywood Rob mentioned in the credits of your 3-minute film that cost $13 to watch?
Hollywood Rob donated $1 to this program. I don't know if it was a GoFundMe or whatever the fucking deal was, but this guy who's a troll gave him $1 and said, "Say my fucking name in the credits." And Joe Matarese didn't do that. So of course this guy's taking umbrage with it, and he's just giving him shit about it. And we got like 1 or 2 more clips, and Joe Matarese is going to lose his fucking shit.
Yay! That's always fun.
I want you to remind you, this next clip is called "This is all over $1."
Right. Yeah, I would have been like, who gives a shit about his dollar? Moving on.
Correct.
I accidentally made a mistake and left it out of a trailer. I apologize, and I recut a whole fucking trailer for that guy. Go look it up. I'm sorry.
What about the second
You're looking at the Red Bar trailers that have been re-edited 30 times.
What about the second part of the Waze app that you never sent Karen?
I've never done anything mean-spirited. You're doing all mean-spirited. I'm not a mean-spirited guy. If I made a mistake about $1 donation to somebody and they called me on it, I either will give them the money immediately or give them exactly what they were deserved of. Hollywood Rob has bitched about a DVD Blu-ray that he never received that he knows never came out. They're coming. I ordered them. I don't know what to tell you. They're not out. They're not for sale on my website. So they obviously aren't available.
But you don't see how that's costing you. You don't see how that's costing you a segment of your audience.
Dude,
Oh, here we go.
Oh, poor Joe. He's getting so flustered.
He's getting wound up.
Yes, he is. I'm choking on my own rage.
It's all that Italian fucking chutzpah coming up inside of Joe Matarese. He's ready to fight somebody.
Gorgonzola.
I just pictured that he's like Randy Marsh at the Little League game. He's taking his shirt off. He's yelling.
Carl, it's even better than that because Randy Marsh was in the bleachers at a baseball game when he started fighting. Joe Matarese is standing in, I assume, right field behind little kids playing Little League, screaming into his phone like a fucking maniac. And it comes up. Somebody goes, "Joe, they're going to call the cops." He goes, "I don't give a fuck. I'm over here by myself." So look, the next clip is called "Why Do I Frustrate You?" And this is Steve Reese. He pulled the pin on the grenade finally, and here's where we get going.
If I lost somebody for the $1 I didn't send out that you're calling me on, it's fucking one guy.
You asked for an example. I gave you an example.
Do you know how many people you gain on Twitter and lose it on Twitter a day? I don't understand what you're saying. You got me riled up because you're making no sense whatsoever.
Way too many points, right?
Dude, you've made no points. Who are these people that you're talking of that haven't gotten what they were deserved of?
Why do I frustrate you so much? That's what I don't get.
Because
you don't understand
this. Asshole. It's obvious, dude. I can hear it in your voice. If you were in front of me, I would pull the Celexa would be gone, and I would be charging you with a forearm to your fucking chin. You're a fucking asshole, dude. You don't know what you're talking about. You've never done anything in show business.
He's going a full Ojeda on him now. He's going to punch you in your throat and cut your face.
It's crazy because he's literally telling Joe, "You're overreacting, and you're embarrassing yourself. You should stop." "Oh yeah, I'll murder your family." You're just like, dude, why are you getting so riled up?
You and hit you with a steel chair.
Yeah, right. It's like, no, you don't understand that you're the problem in this conversation.
So now this is the finish line as far as Joe's like, he's level 10 now. This one is all caps. I have it says, "What have you done?"
Again, we're back to that. So I have to have done something in show business to have a valid opinion.
What have you done? I need to. A fucking opinion. You haven't done anything. What have you done?
You ready?
What have you done?
That's what I need to do to have a valid opinion? That makes no sense.
For me to listen to it, if you're giving me a comedy opinion,
everybody who's a big fan of yours, everybody who's a big fan of yours has massive TV credits. That's what you're telling me?
I don't want assholes to like me, dude. I'm nice enough to call in to this radio show during a fucking Little League game. I'm on fucking so many medications that I can't get angry unless you're an asshole.
Bitterness and Adderall.
You're a fucking asshole, dude.
Bitterness and Adderall.
You made it. If I ever fucking run into you or that Mike David guy, I'm going to fucking knock you off your fucking
Joe.
I'm serious, dude. Fucking air the podcast. This Steve Reese guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
Oh, no. He's going after Mike David.
So here, I should probably mention this. I don't know if Karen from Philly was like a plant from Mike David or if at some point Red Bar covered this whole situation. But let's just say Mike David put the amplifier up to it, which got him even more pissed. And that's part of the circle of troll.
Mike Davids claims he left Compound because he was asked by Keith the cop so many times to stop shitting on Joe Matarese.
It might have been at this point, like, you know what I'm saying? Joe Matarese is friends with Anthony and Artie. I bet you this could have been around the same time. It's like, you got to cut it out on Joe, dude. He's gonna shoot everybody in here if you keep it up. The man is unhinged.
I was in America. I'm sorry.
So clip 6, it just says "ask about me," which he keeps going back to that. He's like, everybody knows my fucking name. Like, it's a real go-to for him and John and anybody else who at some point thinks they were famous. They're just like, don't you know who I am?
Yeah, being a has-been isn't as cool as you think it is.
That's tough when you got to remind people.
Yeah.
So go ask any comedian in the New York circuit what they think of my comedy. All right, not some fucking guy that's on a fan-based show of me.
Sound like Chad.
You're supposed to be doing a show. You're fans of me, okay?
I'm just a guest on this show. We all know this is not Karen's opinion. It's kind of A+'s opinion, but now
go get somebody who does comedy and ask them what they think of me. I don't have a bad reputation in the comedy business, okay, dude? I don't know who you asked. You talking to Amish people or you're going into South Dakota?
All right.
First of all, how many comedians have done the Late Show with David Letterman that completely
and have done nothing with it, and have parlayed that into nothing?
That's not true, Steve. He's had a great career.
Dude, I make a living doing stand-up. What is your fucking day job?
Day job?
What do you do for a living?
I'm the most famous and powerful man in South Dakota.
What do you do to make money?
I just told you. What? No, you didn't.
So you see what's happening here. Like the title of the next clip is Steve is absolutely killing Joe Matarese. Like he is boxing out of his fucking weight class right now. And Steve, I don't even know who Steve is. Like I said, he could be doing anything right now. But on this
someone in the chat says he has a podcast.
Monumental Waste of Time episode, Joe versus Steve. Steve won round fucking 1, 2, and 3. This was a TKO for Steve Reese.
Okay.
Joe.
What are you talking about?
He just has an opinion.
What, Hollywood Rob didn't get his $1? That's why I'm an asshole?
Joe, you're going to get kicked out of your kid's game, dude.
There's so many other reasons, Joe.
I'm in right field by myself. No one's around me.
All right, don't yell. Take a breath.
Like your shows.
God damn it.
Why are you bringing up, like, you don't think I do comedy? I don't have shows. He doesn't have any shows. I work every week as a comedian.
Joe,
what are you talking about?
Remind me of someone. You remind me of the kind of person I've met many times in comedy. The kind of guy who comes out to his first open mic with no material but plenty of business cards. That's the kind of guy you remind me of.
Oh, man.
He's like a bullfighter. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's literally just dangling the curtain in front of Joe Matarese's face. He's like, why I oughta? And then he snaps it back
so bizarre
and he falls right on his dick.
Obviously, this is a lot of pent-up rage and anger that he's finally unleashing on these people. Because at any given time, this could end with just a whatever, dude, and then you hang up.
Sure. Yeah.
Go
coming. It'll be another couple minutes, Carl. He'll hang up.
This should have happened a while ago. He just keep tenderizing the body, unfortunately.
So the next clip is Joe Matarese trying to use logic, I guess, to prove why he's a good comic and the other guy sucks.
What does that have to do with whether or not you behave in a questionable way? You conduct your career in a way.
Who doesn't do roofs? What he thinks of the roof job you did? You don't ask the guy who does electrical how good the roof looks.
Can I ask you one more thing?
You ask the guy who's the roofer.
Joe,
you're not a valid opinion. You're a fucking waste.
But if I live under the roof, I can determine whether or not it's a decent roof.
Yes.
You don't need to be a roofer to know whether it's a good
Not
roof.
From you're
just
from a distance.
a roof. You're a roof consumer.
You're from the distance opinion, dude. You're giving an opinion from a distance.
Does Joe think he's going to win this argument at some point?
Yeah, he could only win if he said something funny.
Right.
Just stay down, Joe.
Right.
Come on, God damn it.
Yeah, it's like the stay down thing. At some point, Steve's just going to be like, you're right, Joe. I'll give you that one. Like, no, it's just going to go on forever. That's what he wants. That's what he wants, you dummy.
So funny thing, Bill Burr did a thing recently about parenting, and he actually made this analogy a lot better in his snug. Where he said, "You may think I don't have kids, so I'm not allowed to have an opinion on parenting." He goes, "Well, I don't suck cock either, but I can tell when somebody's doing a bad job at it." That's exactly right.
Right.
Steve Reese, Bill Burr, they're thinking on the same level here. So clip 9, final. This is Joe. He finally just says fuck it and leaves. But Steve won this fair and square. I mean, he came in and he knew he had his number, as they say. And
he knows how to push his buttons,
Matarese.
man. That's the thing with Joe. It's just too easy with this fucking guy.
Yeah.
Joe,
So this is kind of a longer clip, by the way. Sorry,
Yeah.
but this was the finale. This is the end of the thing. But this how it went.
Joe, here's what I don't understand. My opinion obviously means a lot to you.
I thought Letterman twice. They asked me to come back on the show a second time.
My opinion obviously means a lot to you, regardless of whether I get paid to do comedy or not.
Can I stop talking to this guy because I don't even hear you anymore. Someone else talk to me.
There is something I wanted to ask you though, Joe.
Talk to me.
Joe.
There is something I wanted to ask you though, Joe.
I'm not answering anything you got to ask.
No, I think this is valid, and there will be constructive advice at the end of this.
Dude, you're like asking a Jewish guy what he thinks of my lasagna. Just stop talking to me. That's not racist.
I'm only
It
kidding,
also wasn't
Joe.
funny.
Right.
I mean, it's
Here goes.
beyond stupid, but it's not racist.
Asking a guy that wrote like 3 knock-knock jokes what he thinks about someone's stand-up comedy.
Good one.
But that doesn't make sense at all, Joe, because everybody in the audience of the comedy show is not a goddamn comedian.
Go to South Dakota and ask them if they know. I'm trying to think of other comedians
this
that I
comes to
think
the
are funny.
credibility issue, though. You get this comes.
You have no credibility, dude. You got 335 Twitter followers.
Joe
There it
Matarese is
is.
so flustered right now.
Yes.
That he was trying to come up with an example of a funny comic that they wouldn't know about in South. He couldn't think of Dave Chappelle. He couldn't think of Colin Quinn. He couldn't come up with one fucking name of one of his friends who everyone knows is good at comedy. He's so mad. He's so mad. All right, yes, I'll be back up just a little bit so we can hear him.
But he had Jewish lasagna on the tip of his tongue.
Yeah, he was ready with that.
Sounds delicious. Is that lasagna kosher?
135 Twitter followers. You're nobody.
Oh,
You're a jealous motherfucker. That's what
right.
you are.
Because that's how you measure the value of somebody's opinion, the number of Twitter followers.
I have like
When someone thinks you're not funny, they're not jealous. No one's jealous of a guy who sucks at his job. I wish I could suck at my job like that guy does. That's so stupid.
Well, that's how they value if they book you in the world of stand-up comedy now.
I'm not trying to get booked in the world of stand-up comedy. You understand? I'm mistakenly billed occasionally as a stand-up comedian. It's something I've done. It's not something I pursue.
Why can't you accept that I don't want everyone to like,
But you obviously do because you're here today to convince me to think that you're a genius.
But your reason for
everything you do and everything you say contradicts that. You had an amazing episode.
Guys.
You did one of the greatest podcast episodes ever. You had 3 radio legends.
Think he hung
They
up.
made everybody laugh. Well, let me just say this for the audience. They made everybody laugh for an hour, hour and a half or whatever. And Joe was so much of a baby because he didn't get the attention he felt he deserved. He felt like things didn't go the way he wanted them to go, so he had that taken down. Then he made his Twitter private. Instead of capitalizing on that. He doesn't know how to capitalize on anything. He doesn't know how things work, and I'm sure that's one of the things I said on that giant list you have over there, Karen, which I would have been happy to get to if Joe had brought it up.
Okay, so I got to give a shout out my buddy Mike from the Wheelbarrow Full of Dicks internet radio program. He's been listening to Red Bar for years, and he reminded me of this. I remembered it had happened, the Monumental Waste of Time podcast. One day we're sitting around, I go, what was the name of that fucking trans dude lady that fucking was fucking with Joe Matarese? And he got me that clip. So
wait, that was a trans person too?
It was.
Can we do
Karen
one
from Philly.
segment on this show?
We cannot.
It's crazy. What is going on? Well, thank you for bringing that to our attention because that is fun.
Yeah, that was gold, dude.
There's a reason why Joe Matarese is where he is. It's because he does not handle criticism very well at all.
That's one of the reasons.
That's one of the reasons.
Who are these podcasts?